And good morning, YouTubers. And I hate to say it, but it is what it is. Canal rats. And I'm one of them. And I'm proud to be. Two boats so fat, they're trying to outrace each other against the tide, and it's costing them $100 a minute. They can't get out of their own way. But that's what the wealthy do. But anyway, welcome and good morning to another edition of Saturday Mornings with Paul K. And we're on the beautiful Cape Cod Canal, questing for stripers yet again. And it's a super secret spot, and I'm not going to give the name of it, but it is absolutely spectacularly gorgeous. And we're going to give it a shot here. And look at that, isn't that spectacularly beautiful? You got the railroad bridge and the Bourne Bridge, and what a spectacular picture. But it is hot this morning, and all week it's been close to 100. Actually, yesterday did break 100, so we're in the middle of summer, August, and having a good time. So hopefully catch some good luck and hook on to some good stripers on this end of the canal, and we will let you know what happens. And usual, Trail Boss out. And so the conditions for today, uncommonly enough, I'm on the mainland side, and we're giving it a whirl here for various reasons. And you can see the mud flats right across here, right in this area, and it is packed, just packed with fishermen. And it's a great fishing spot over there by the railroad bridge, and there's a hole in front of the railroad bridge on both sides actually. But I don't like the crowds. At times the fishing can be spectacular, but it's combat fishing, and it's not for me. And if you watch the instructional videos, and I say over and over again, I'm predominantly a bait fisherman, and this tide is cranking right now, and my bait is easily 60-70 yards that way, so you can't do this bait fishing near people. You have to find wide open areas. That's what I prefer. And over there and all that, it's just aside from, it's hard enough throwing lures. You got to throw in succession, but with the bait fishing you need room. So please bear in mind, that's the cardinal, probably #1 rule here at the canal is respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. And so anyway, the conditions for today is the wind's out of the south, and the tide is heading east towards Cape Cod Bay from Buzzards Bay, and it's about 92 right now, and mac chunks on the bottom. I'm going to be jigging with a Savage sand eel, which is a legendary lure here. I'll show you what it looks like shortly, and we're giving it a go. We'll see what happens. The moon phase is it's building. It's a little past quarter moon, and we're giving it a whirl. Beautiful, spectacular day, and breathtaking views of the Cape Cod Canal. Hopefully the fishing gods will smile upon us, and we'll catch some stripers. We'll let you know. And so this is the Savage sand eel, the absolute best right now, the hottest lures for the canal. And the main reason is the pointed jig head. And these ain't cheap. You'd think like they'd give you a break or something, but nowhere else. That jig head design, it goes straight down really fast, and in a fast current that matters. That's why this is a killer lure in the canal or anywhere else that there's a current. And it gets down the bottom fast. There's 500 other designs, but this works the best in a current, and I like wide. I throw that, so it's pretty cool lure to be throwing here. It gets down fast. You let it just touch the bottom and just start bouncing it back to you, and that's what I'll be throwing today. And if you look closely, the choo-choo's gonna go over the railroad bridge. The railroad bridge is lowered. For people that are not from this area and don't know, this is one of the few movable railroad bridges in the world. Very interesting, especially the railroad buffs, I'm sure. I have a friend, Hobo Shoestring. He's on YouTube. He would probably be very much interested in this. A shout out to my friend Shoestring. But shortly you'll see the choo-choo going over. The bridge normally is up here to let ships pass through. And then when a train comes, it lowers itself down, and then the train goes over, and then they pull it back up again. Quite a interesting marvel of design, and not too many in the world, I bet. On the top of those giant lightning attractors, it's all metal. I'm sure that thing gets struck 1,000 times during an electrical storm, but it's quite an interesting thing to see. Come on down to the Cape Cod Canal and enjoy it. And if you watch closer, you'll see the choo-choo going across the bridge. The Cape Cod train making its way across. Unfortunately, this particular GoPro knockoff does not have zoom feature, but I think you can see it going across. Quite spectacular. And while that happens, on this end, the fuzz keeps the ships from coming through here. Where you can see right there, the cops are there, and they'll stop the ships, and they'll do it on the other end too, to obviously allow the train to pass. They can't go, obviously, because the bridge is down. But that's our Cape Cod Canal movable train bridge. Pretty interesting. I'll catch it when it's going up. And now they're raising it. You'll see it going up. A shoestring. That's a long run across that trestle before it gets to the top. You think you're up for it? Make a run like that? You'd make it across no problem, but that jump on the last would be tough. I wish you the best, Shoe. He's a YouTube legend. You might want to check his channel out. Hobo Shoestring. Travels the whole country his whole life. He's a veteran, and he's a true hobo, a real hobo, and loves the outdoors and living the rails. And he's quite a guy, quite a very hearty individual. Great personality too. Love you, Shoe. Well, there you see it. You get the idea. Bridge goes up, and now the boats can go back through. They unleash them, and it's back to normal. I'll let you know. Let's go, Stripers. So when fishing areas like this along the canal or any beach, this is more like a beach. You're not wedging your spikes between the rocks, which is relatively easy. Well, they're about the same difficulty, but you're more wedging them into sand. So once again, extremely careful to really wedge those suckers in there good, because your rod's going bye-bye if a bluefish or a striper just, they whack it and it just goes right over. Make sure those spikes are in there good. So here the technique is just bang them into the sand and wedge them between two close rocks. If you have the availability of the rocks, then if there's no rocks here, just use them just like on a beach. Extra long, make your spikes extra long so you can really pound them in good. And this is not a sand kind of a base. This is more of a gravelly sand, which locks in better than regular sand. is kind of too loose. You need like a 6-foot spike. You gotta pound it in like 4 feet to take purchase, you know. Whereas here it's you don't have to go in as deep. But anyway, it's different than just spiking them in the rocks. I'm using the rocks as leverage, and just happen to have this beautiful quarry stone, cut stone that I'm using for a cutting board for the bait, and it works perfectly, just the right shape too. But God supplies everything you need. Right, Shu? Let's go, Strivers. I'd have I'm dying to know. Well, so the Army Corps of Engineers says this is 500 feet across, but I'm sure it varies at different areas by 50 feet or 100 feet or whatever, you know. But I'm gonna bring I have a Halo laser rangefinder that I use for bow hunting, for ranging distances, you know, for setting up your bow and for bow hunting. And I'm gonna bring it down here. It's easily go 1,000 yards, and in 2 seconds it'll tell you the distance from one side to another, from where you're standing to any other object. And interesting to see if this is actually, I believe they're right about right. 500 feet is 1 3/4 or 1 3/4 football fields, I guess. And that's about right, I'd say. And I always wondered that. But I'm going to bring my Halo down and see one time. So looking at the railroad bridge fishing area from this angle on the mainland side, this area here, that's called the mud flats. It's very shallow there, and a lot of guys in the early spring, that warms up really good. It's mud flats, and flounder get up in there. And they also, a good shallow area for flounder is Buzzards Bay, Buttermilk Bay is around the bend here. That gets real shallow in there, and you can catch flounder up in there early in the spring. But what I wanted to say is, you can wade out. You have to be extremely careful. This ain't for beginners or the weak of heart, but on the edge of those mud flats, a lot of guys wade out, and you have to be careful, and especially if this current is cranking, you can wade out pretty far, but then it just drops off. And if you get off in that current, you're going for a swim. And if you can't swim, you're out. So it's relatively dangerous, but a lot of guys do it, and they access great fish. They can get on the drop-off real easy, but I never recommended that to you. It's very dangerous if you fall off that edge in that current, but that's a heck of a good fishing spot over there. It just gets too crowded. Mud flats are here. Most of the guys fish this point here for stripers off the rocks, and of course the railroad bridge. On either side of any of these structures or these bridges, the railroad bridge, the Bourne and the Saggy, because of the current, it switches each day many times. They create holes on either side of those girders, the bases, and those are great spots to fish. But I never told you that, did I? Thank you. Let you know, trail. Kind of a cool thing, but in front of the Maritime, that tower there, right on top there's an osprey nest, and I wish this had a zoom. I could zoom right in on it, and but I can't. It doesn't have a zoom. But yeah, see him there? He just moved his wings there. I don't know if you can make that out or not, but pretty interesting. Fishing hawk. What in the world is that thing? What is it, a Bass Pro party barge? I think it is. You got to give it credit, though. It's going against the current. It's doing pretty good. It's got a bunch of people on it. Must be some type of tour boat or something, but it's a Bass Pro party barge. Lake Winnipesaukee is that way. Or north, that way. You never know what's going to come floating by. I love this place. Wow. Wow. Excuse me, sir, what do you do for a living? I'm just a professional rich guy. I'm professionally rich. And this is what I have to show, one of my toys. This is my Friday yacht. Look at that thing. Wow. You need a crew for that, obviously. Jeez. Beauty. Osprey is basically telling the seagull, take a hike. The seagull's getting too close to the nest, and the osprey's going off. And so the bridge is lowered again, and the train comes back from the opposite direction. It's been about 3 hours, 4 hours or so, but there it is, the Cape Cod Express. The bridge is lowered, and back people come. Push the up switch now. It starts going off and the train goes over the edge. Sorry, it's constantly 17 years old. Come on, you know everyone thinks of that stuff. Or as a great practical joke, come in the middle of the night and remove the bolts right in the middle. Remove all the bolts right in the center of the bridge. That would be a catastrophe. So another great scenario would be have a really fast, low speedboat with a very low displacement with a 400 horsepower engine, and just blast underneath the bridge like those stunt pilots do flying under a bridge. Do that for a boat. The cops will never catch it. All they can do is radio ahead, I guess. And the other scenario would be is one boat with a 400 horsepower engine on it with a huge ramp, and it rides in front of you with your 400 horsepower, and you race up here right when the bridge is down, and the ramp gets there first, and then you blast and fly over, hit that ramp, and then just go right over the bridge, GoPro style. You never know what you're gonna get. It's called being bored waiting for the finish. It's been like 4 hours. What I go to get you guys these videos. It's fun though. I wouldn't trade it for nothing, and this is what I'd be doing anyway. Hope that sounded welcoming. And that's how the pros do it. And boats like that there. But you know, on these episodes that I try to show you, sometimes the fishing's is slow. The doldrums, especially this year, I can give you the honest truth. It's one of the slowest years I've had personally for the canal, 8-10 years. And it could be a case of wrong place, wrong time, or whatever, but I got good intel all the time, and I know it pretty well. But on these slow episodes, I appreciate you people watching, everyone that has a wonderful interest in this beautiful spot, place, and world-class fishery. And I tried to include extra insider information to make it worth your while to keep on watching. And believe me, I've been doing it for a long time. I'll continue on with these kind of tips for the subscribers and you guys that have always kept with me, stuck with me. And the fall migrations are starting, and archery and the small games are starting up, and we'll see a lot of more game being harvested. So every episode can't be 15 stripers. And like I always say in the beginning, you can come down here one day in the first 2 hours and catch 15, 20 big cow stripers, and then other days, you know, not that often though, but other days it's a lot slower. But you come down here to get more out of it. It's a wonderful place to be. And if you love fishing, of course, and stripers and just being out in nature and seeing these wonderful things, this is one of the spots that Eastern Mass has to offer. It's just worth your while to come down here no matter what the scenario. With God's blessings, you catch fish, you catch supper, and you get to have fresh fish. So it's a lot of fun, man. Very fulfilling. Well, there you have it, folks. I went slack to slack, and the wind's starting to pick up now. And I don't know, I used to say in high school on a day of a big test, another day, another zero. But I had a good time. I deepened my tan, and I'm fully recharged again. That's the beauty of coming down here. You get recharged. I sincerely like to thank all you guys for watching, and I appreciate it. If you like this channel, the new people, like, subscribe, and you know what to do. And we'll see you again next week. Who knows where we'll be on the canal, but I'll give you more insider tips and hopefully catch some fish along the way. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Trail Boss out.